So, Mohbad's driver, the driving company, the driver broke the back of all the lies that have been told all through Justice for Mohbad. This is a man who is not swayed by lies and probably bribe and all of that. This man came with full force, and what he said is mind-blowing. Do you want to know what happened at the coroner inquest and Sam Larry's statements? Wow. A lot of things happened. And this has further shed light into the mystery of what happened to Mohbad. What time, day did Mohbad RIP? In fact, it got to a point, this man was emotional. He was so angry. He said, if I was Mohbad, I would have beaten Cynthia. Meaning, I would have beaten Cynthia. If Cynthia was my wife, I would have beaten her blue, black. Or I would have her arrested. After all, there are soldiers, military officers, security provided to secure Mohbad. But then, majority of these things happened inside of the SUV. Yes, it happened inside of the SUV. May we not be caught in a situation. May we not get used to a kind of lifestyle that will eventually unalive us. If Mohbad's father had listened and dealt with Cynthia accordingly, but he did try a little bit, but he could not do much because he depended on Mohbad to fund him, to sustain him. So there is a limit to some of the things he could do. And when he did push, somehow issues started coming up. And of course, he was also living his own life too. And Mohbad wanted daddy and mommy to come back together. It was like a very complex thing. Very complex. Very complex. May we not be attached to someone who will be the pathway or the catalyst that will unalive us. You see, in fact, this is explosive. What you're about to listen to from the beginning, you will get to know firsthand every detail. What you have never heard. This is exclusive. Exclusive to this platform. I want you to sit back because those people involved in what happened, all of them will be held responsible. Did Cynthia request the driver to take Mohbad to the hospital? What happened? What possessed Mohbad to fight his friend, Prime Boy? What got into him? Let's get right into it. Like and share. Tap on the subscribe button.
On the cause of Mohbad's death. And that was where probably what you heard it. Because they will come to tell you, oh, they said it's inconclusive. They said he used the language he used, I will tell you. Because Dr. Shitu said, with all of these that you have been able to analyze, you have talked about the technique you applied, checking through the skeleton, meaning the bones. You have been able to check the spinal cord. You have been able to establish that there was no trauma to the head, no trauma to the spine. And you have been able also to prove that it was not substance abuse, no drug abuse, no psychopathic drugs, no general medicine, that it wasn't the effect of sickness. Then what is your opinion on the cause of Mohbad's death? He said, post-mortem changes beat us to it. I quote him verbatim, and I will explain. He said, post-mortem changes beat us to it. Let me break it down. The fact that Mohbad was not preserved in the mortuary, he said that we know this, the state of the weather in Nigeria. That was what he said. And so he said because of that, decomposition set in, that had it been it was preserved, the next day they could have been able to ascertain and verify, because then there was fluid. But he said he had to depend on the tissue because there was no longer the presence of fluid whatsoever, that he had to depend on the tissue. So he said anatomically he can say that the cause of death of Mohbad was undetermined. He used that language. He said undetermined. Clinical, so he mentioned he said because of he said because of the fact that it was not preserved in the mortuary and there was no longer any fluid on him, that he could not pinpoint, let me use that word now, that he could not be emphatic, that there was sickness or there was an injection. He said the possibility of it is there, but it cannot be proven because there was no fluid on him anymore. I am not a doctor. That was what he said. So Dr. Shitu went on to say, he used one language. He said the injection could have been given intramuscularly or intravenously. He said, but then if there was severe anaphylactic reaction, he will not be able to tell. If there was severe anaphylactic reaction, that could not be proven because the body was not preserved in the morgue. The regular question of what is the importance of diagnosis? That is it ethical for a patient to be treated without adequate diagnosis? Of course, the last inquest where the nurse came, that was proven that you just can't go ahead and treat a patient without adequate diagnosis. The pathologist said it is unethical. So the circumstances of death provided, in summary, it was put anaphylactic reaction. Well, that was what he said. He said it is a medical misadventure because it cannot be proven whether the reaction was by injection, because they were able to rule out totally that there was no substance abuse. No substance abuse. The regular question of what will you advise the coroner? Well, he said the vital organs. Okay, no, Dr. Shitu, before he answered that, Dr. Shitu said, did you make a comprehensive check of the vital organs? The heart, the lungs, the livers, the pancreas, the kidneys. That can you say there was a moderate or severe autolysis? He was asking. The only thing that the pathologist answered was that could not be proven because of body decomposition. Because of the decomposition of the body. So when Dr. Shitu asked about the auxiliary nurse, well, the man said he had worked in a very refined setting, organization. So there is no cadre for an auxiliary nurse. No cadre for an auxiliary nurse. Yeah. So that about the pathologist. His report, he has not been cross-examined though. He has not been cross-examined because he had to go for other official functions. But he gave his report to the end. And they were asking, how does he compare the first autopsy because a referral was made that there's supposed to be a test that was supposed to be carried out. Now, let me look for the name. I think it's a CGM or so that was recommended. And the pathologist said he even took his own test above that was recommended. He said he took it, he had to go comprehensive, but he maintained. What actually happened was because the body was not adequately preserved. I guess that should answer. I know that everybody is going to be quiet now because the report says undetermined. The cause of death is undetermined. And what the pathologist said was that it was because the body was not adequately preserved. Undetermined, that was the language, not unascertained. If you had that language, it was by somebody else. What was said and quoted was that it was undetermined, the cause of death. So the next person, the next witness was Sam Larry. Sam Larry. His name is Samson Balogun Eletu. And he came by virtual anyway. His lawyer, a virtual setting had already been made right before the proceedings started, just like it happened in the time of Naira Marley. And he says he lives at 18 Oshodi Street, Lagos Island. And his occupation is a show promoter. So, according to the deposition that it was dated 21st August 2024, he said it should be taken as his own statement. So it was from there they began to cross-examine him. And he made a request that the lawyer requested that it should be interviewed, yes, by Yoruba, that he will speak Yoruba. So there was an interpreter, but every of his responses was in Yoruba. So Dr. Shitu said, our own pathologist, that was his report. Like I said, he has not been examined. He has not been cross-examined. He just gave his report and left. And he will be coming again on the 25th, the next adjourned date, for further cross-examination. I think that is going to basically be based on the comparison of the first toxicology as well as his own. Well, so until we get there, because I really don't want everybody to get panicky, because he mentioned one or two words. He said a lawyer. And so when we get to the point of cross-examination, we want to ask who was the lawyer. He mentioned and the lawyer. I remember, okay, he said and the lawyer said. So the question is, you see, when from first autopsy, injury size, because he mentioned that there was an injury, but very small, and it cannot cause death. That was what he said. We have had it. Even the nurse said so. And so the pathologists also have come to say the same thing, that the injury is so very minimal, it just cannot cause death. So that was at the point that Dr. Shitu was saying, but a CGMS was required by the first pathologist. That why was he why did he not follow that? He now said the CGMS was no longer relevant for what he was called to do, the examination he was called to do, and that he has gone ahead even to exceed the requests in the first toxicology, which was the CGMS. But I know that when we get to the point of a cross-examination, we should be able to ask, who was the lawyer? How was he appointed? Do you understand? What were the contacts? We will get to ask all of that later. So in the meanwhile, I really don't want us to fret, until the cross-examination at the next coroner court. So, I'm already on Samson Balogun. And so Dr. Shitu said, you swore by the Holy Quran that everything you say will be the truth. He said, yes. I'm talking about Sam Larry now. And so Dr. Shitu said that there are 3 kinds of judgments. He said, number 1, judgment of the people. Number 2, the judgment by the court of law. And the last one, the judgment of God. Sam Larry said, yes, he's aware. Dr. Shitu said, if a man escapes the judgment of the people and he escapes the judgment of the law courts, that definitely he cannot escape the judgment of God. I think that is a sure statement. So, the question was, do you know Mohbad? He said, I know Mohbad. And what is the relationship between you? He said it is business because he's a show promoter. And so what is the grouse? He said Mohbad was owing him 2 million naira. So a referral was made that he confronted, Dr. Shitu said, you confronted Mohbad at a Legushi beach, yes or no? He said yes. And you came with cordial, you came to attack him, you came to threaten him. He said no. Okay, why were you there? He said he was the only one that got down from his car because he now saw it as an opportunity to come and meet Mohbad, who he has been calling ceaselessly, and he was no longer picking. You can only lie against the dead. Mohbad is not there to defend himself. And that's why I pray that the enemy will not prevail against us in the name of Jesus. So, he now said, Dr. Shitu said, what led to that? He said he invited him for a show because Dr. Shitu said, you invited him for the birthday of your mother. Sam Larry said no, it was not his mother's birthday, but his own birthday that was to hold at Dubai in 2023. And so he did not come. And Sam Larry himself said the reason why Mohbad could not come was the NDLEA affair. That was the reason why Mohbad could not come. And so he said even when they were done, that he did not harass him. According to him, Atulo Jamala. Well, Okunon Puromo. Referral was made that there were, evidences that he assaulted, he threatened Mohbad, to which he said no, like Naira Marley, his counterpart. So, but it was proven because he went on to say, because he had paid for hotel accommodation, he had paid for flights, which had cost him over 20 million and all of that, and that he would not let go the 2 million naira. So that was why. And so Dr. Shitu said, did you make anything official about this? Did you report? Did you get a lawyer? Who was the, he said yes, he got a lawyer. Who was the lawyer? He gave no answer. Who did you report to? He said he told some people. And who were they? There was no answer. But then, Dr. Shitu maintained that it should be proven and taken that everything he did against Mohbad to retrieve the said money was a threat to him. And that is a proof that could lead to his death. He said no. Well, now, other legal counsel, they were making their own question to him. The same question, who was Mohbad? He said somebody that he knows. And so one of the lawyers asked and said, how many shows did you have together? Can you put a figure to it? And what year? He said 3. He said in January 7, 2021, the first one was at Dubai. Another one was in Kenya. Another one was at Akure. And that the last one was supposed to be the one he invited into in Dubai, which he did not come for. So a question was also asked, Sam Larry, talk about Mohbad's character. And that was where tears came to my eyes. Ó ní ọmọ alálùbáríkà ni. He said he's a child of immense honor. Let me put it that way. A child of immense honor. Ọmọlúwàbí ni. He said it himself. And so, let me digress a little. For all of you that suddenly rose as a whirlwind against Joseph Aloba, ẹ lọ máa rò ó, nítorí á sọ̀kalẹ̀ sẹ́yìnkùlé yín, Olúwa tí ń bẹ àtẹ̀mí ẹ̀. For somebody who is an adversary to give an outstanding report of a personality like that was shaking. Ó ní ọmọ alálùbáríkà ni. That was Mohbad. And who taught him? Who trained him? His father, of course. So, he was asked, Sam Larry, when did you travel out of Nigeria? He said he traveled September 4. Remember, Mohbad died on the 11th. Now, at least that we know that. He said he traveled on the 4th and that he arrived in Dubai, or where did he even say he went to, on the 5th. When did you come back? He said he was invited by the police. Of course, we know that. That was after Mohbad's demise. And so, questions were put to him that, are you aware there was a petition consequent upon the attack that he had on him at Elegushi Beach? He said yes. And that he went himself. He appeared at Alagmo 3 times. He said that he was even locked up, but they had to bail him. So Dr. Shitu asked him, what step did you take? Because if somebody is owing you and you are attacking him like that aggressively, then it meant that there was no relationship that was a cordial relationship between you. He said he only went there to go and counter the petition of Mohbad because Mohbad lied against him. One of the legal counsel that was asking made a reference to Shangaria Hotel and the events that occurred there. There were a lot of mix-up because initially Sam Larry was like, I don't know who Ayo Mide or Ayo Bami was. And eventually I know him, and he was the one that broke a bottle, and we did not touch them. Well, what are we going to say? Because they have prepared their words. Yes, wọ́n ti kóra wọn jọ, and they are never going to say the truth at all. Whether if the position was written or not, they will not tell the truth. You know, he didn't tell the truth at all, because when the legal counsel was like, there were video evidences where Mohbad was saying, oh, so and so responsible. Now this is Sam Larry attacking me. He said no. And now, question now came to the general public. I remember precisely somebody saying, but then you made a statement that went viral. Wọ́n ti gbé e sí inú ìwé lòkú tí ń sọ̀rọ̀. He said he made that video in 2013. Ìyàwó ló tiẹ̀ pé ná. He said, and now they now coined it into his voice that actually it was not, that he made it in 2013. That was shocking. That was how yes, 2013. That was what he said. That so they just coined it to him. What are we going to say? Abi? That was what he called it. God bless you. He said he made it. So many lies. Whoever writes a petition, he said he wrote a petition. And that was after Mohbad's petition. After Mohbad, he countered Mohbad's petition with a petition because he had the police under his armpit now. He had the police under his armpits. That was why he could counter the petition. Well, you now know what was funny. Somebody said, into which account did you pay the 2 million naira that Mohbad owe you? Because the question that was put to him is that Mohbad was under a record label. And so, if you have to bring someone who is under a record label to come and have a show, you are supposed to contact the record label owner. So, to whose account did you pay the 2 million naira? You know what he answered? He said he paid it to Naira Marley's account. He said he paid that money. Every money that he has been collecting, that has transpired between himself and Mohbad, has been paid into Naira Marley's account. And yet, Sam Larry said that Mohbad is owing him. Let me tell you, any one of you in life, whether on this cause of justice for Mohbad, whether individual, let me tell you, the question that Dr. Shitu puts to him is not only to Sam Larry, it is to everybody. Everybody that has codging Joseph Oluwabamiwo with their tongue. People that are usurping this justice. And Sam Larry as well as his cohort. Let me tell you that if you are smart, if you outsmart human, you cannot outsmart God. So, it was into Naira Marley's account that money was paid. How then is Mohbad going to draw out the money? Did you see? It was Mohbad's, it was Naira Marley account. You know the foolish thing that the guy was answering? It is Mohbad that gave me the account number. I say, I don't know how I'm even able to control myself. Torí pé tó bá jẹ́ pé bí mo bá rí bí ènìyàn ṣe ni yẹ kí n lọ sẹ́ńgbò àbí kí n máa yá jẹ. So I asked a question. I said, if a person that is rearing chicken and your chicken is laying 20 eggs, 30 eggs, will you carry the chicken to the marketplace to go and sell? Because there was a cordial relationship between you and Mohbad between January 2021 and 2023. When did the song change? Ìgbà wo lorin dòwe? He couldn't answer. God knows all. Bí Sam Larry àti gbogbo àwọn tó ti ń wá, all of them that have been coming, if they escape the judgment of human and of the court, they won't escape the judgment of God, as well as everybody that I have done the wrong on this cause of justice for Mohbad. So the money that he is running after Mohbad for actually was paid into Naira Marley's account, because at least we had it that Mohbad did not have account, and the driver attested to that. We will get there. So that is the conclusion about Sam Larry. Kí ló fẹ́ sọ? Kò sí, Mohbad ti kú. Mohbad ti kú. Now, what is your advice to the Corona Court, Sam Larry? And he said they should go and arrest the people that are around him 24 hours. Kí ni ìdílé tí máa sọ? Ebi tí Naira Marley ti sọ sí lẹ́nu náà ló máa sọ. That's what they are saying. That he should go and arrest the people around him. As he was talking, he even mentioned that when he was booking the ticket, he made a reservation for himself and for his wife Wunmi. Then, but it was another. It just passed. Nobody gave that to attention because gbogbo nǹkan tó ń sọ, we know it is not relevant to the cause of what we are on. But what are we going to do? It cannot bring Mohbad back. It cannot bring Mohbad back. Maybe by the time we get to the High Court, there could be further scrutiny. Or scrutiny now, at the examination. Okay. And then the driver. With the driver came a lot of relief. After the tension of undetermined cause of death, as well as the false witness of Sam Larry. The driver came, and the driver said his truth. As far as I am concerned, I am not saying that you should agree with me, but he said his truth. One is not a Yoruba person. His name is Fidelis Esambo Emeka. And he was able to establish that there was scuffle between Mohbad and his wife. He was able to establish that Prime Boy never lifted his hand against Mohbad. He said his own job is car hire, and that an agent called him that he should come to Orchid, and that was where he met Mohbad. He said when he got there, he had to wait for 3 hours because they had to wait for another SUV, and out came his wife as well as the baby, and they were in the car with other guys. Of course, definitely he will not know their names. So what transpired when they were going? He said nothing precisely. They were communicating, which he didn't hear because they were speaking in Yoruba. But when they now got to the venue after the show, let me just bring it in like that. That there were soldiers present that guarded Mohbad to the show and back. Although when they left the house, they stopped at Cubana chief priest. Yes, let me not forget that. Before they went to Ikorodu, they stopped at Cubana chief priest. He said himself and Wunmi went to buy food. That was mentioned already. We had that one, that they went to buy food. So it was when they came that they now proceeded to the Corona. So I mean to the show venue. So the soldiers and police, they came and guarded Mohbad for his performance. But by the time they came back, I think there was an issue of the boys requesting Mohbad money or something like that. It was the wife, it was Wunmi, that transferred money from our account also, because it was the driver said it was the wife that transferred money into his own account, and they went to collect money. So by the time they came back or something, it was giving 10,000 to the police, giving this, giving all of that. At a point, the advice was coming that it should be 5,000 instead of 10,000, and all those normal regular talks. So there was an aggravation, not caused by Prime Boy, like Wunmi and our cohorts wanted people to believe. But Mohbad got angry. The presence of this force men, they were still there, the soldiers and all of that. So it was Mohbad that hit the glass, according to the driver, and the glass broke. He even hit Prime Boy, but Prime Boy did not retaliate, and Prime Boy had to be taken away from there. So they moved. He said while they were coming home, he heard when Wunmi was saying Oloshi, Olori Buruku, Ole. In 2020, when you have not blown, I'm the one that went to go and borrow 500,000 naira, be 200,000 naira at Emoye Tope from my mother. that at least the driver had that. You know, people who don't speak our vernacular, they can identify insults. He said Wunmi was persistently saying Oloshi, Olori Buruku, what else again? Ole, or something like that. You know, that the argument was fierce. He was able to confirm that there was bleeding, at least on the carpet of the car. Strong bleeding, he didn't establish that because they were able to get home. And about what time did you people get home? He said 1 a.m. 1 a.m. midnight. So by the time they got home, oh, that was another point. Mohbad jẹ̀yà o, Mohbad tó bá àìwáyé mọ́, we don't come again. But this one life, the reason why Mohbad will get justice is that he was wrongly treated. No. The only person that did well to Mohbad was his father, Joseph Oluwabamiwo Aloba. That is the only person. The only person that you will celebrate in life gave the best life to Mohbad, the father. Otherwise, ó jẹ ìyà lásán ni, ó wáyé asán. I won't lie. If there is any good time that Mohbad had in life, he had it with his father. The time the man was backing him, the time the man was moving all around with him, only that time. Otherwise, he never had it good. Because the driver said the serious words were strong. Even Wunmi held onto Mohbad, and the chain he was wearing caught. He said when they got to the house, Mohbad got down and was just walking quietly. Ẹkún mú mi. Àwọn ọmọ wa ò ní ṣìrìn o, wọn ò dẹ̀ ní ṣìfẹ́. If you have a very gentle child, there's nothing you can do about it. I won't lie. An introvert cannot exhibit the character of an extrovert. Is the lie. Papa Mohbad too doesn't talk. So definitely, his son took after him. Ìyá jẹ Mohbad. I won't lie. I'm a mother. Ọkàn mi gbọgbẹ́. The man said if he was the husband of Wunmi, òun á lù ú. He said Mohbad just got down and was walking inside the house. Ẹkún mú mi. I just managed myself. That is this how a child will encounter evil in life? And you people are insulting the father. You will not make it. Ọmọ ò ní sinmi, I swear. Ní ìtẹ́ ìfojú bàbá ẹ̀ tún rí lẹ́yìn tó lose ọmọ. Easy. The only life Mohbad enjoyed was with the father. Any other, he suffered. You know that the driver said he went to meet Wunmi and said, Madam, when you enter, don't cause any trouble. You know what Wunmi answered? He said this one. He will enter now and go and be crying. Cry boy husband ni Mohbad. Cry. Ọmọ tí bàbá kọ́ tó gbẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ó wá ṣìrìn láyé, ó ṣì fẹ́, ó ṣì ayé wá. Ọmọ ológo, ó kàn sọnù. Just like that. Tó bá mọ̀, if he remain a eunuch, nothing will happen to him. The girl told the driver and said, this one, he will enter now and go and be crying. That is the soft nature that Mohbad had. If Sam Larry can even attest to the fact that he's a good boy, a glorious child died, Mohbad will get justice. There's nothing anybody can do about it. He will get justice. Let them go and try more. Let them go and try more. So he said they entered the people enter. He now stood, the driver said he stood outside and slept in his car. He said around 3 a.m. they came to knock his door, the car door. Because of his broken window, he doesn't want to go home. He wants it to be fixed. He said that if they now knock around 3 a.m., they wanted to go to a pharmacy to go and buy something. He said he told them, I don't have fuel in my car. I cannot go. So they went back. In the morning, he now came to the door. There was no movement. There was no nothing. But in the morning, it was only Wunmi that came out. And Wunmi now saw him and said, did you just arrive? He said he answered and said, no, I slept here. I am here. I did not go anywhere. I want to have my door fixed. And so Wunmi was the one that called, because what made Wunmi to come out was that he needed a POS malam to come and give money. Ọmọ náwó náwó tí ò ṣiṣẹ́. If you escape the judgment of man, you escape the judgment of the court. All of you that did evil to this boy, you will not escape the judgment of God, as God lives and is spirit. So it was because they asked the driver, did you enter inside the house? He said no. It was only when the POS malam came to come and give money. Ìgbà tán bá ti fẹ́ gbowó, òun ni. Nobody saw Mohbad. He said, well, it was the wife that called the person that will fix the glass of his car. And so he left around 11 to 12 on that Monday. The next news he was going to hear was between 9 a.m. around 12 on Tuesday that Mohbad had died. That's that about the driver. He said, he said the way Wunmi actually dealt with Mohbad, he said, if na my wife, I go beat her. You know, it's not a Yoruba. A Sambo should be an Edo or a Benin person. Mohbad is sharing. Just like very dark man said, he said, Mohbad suffered. I am a mother. Mohbad suffered. Thank God for a father that cares. I salute you, Joseph Oluwabami Waloba. Thank you for the period of care. Mohbad will remember that. Mohbad suffered from his mother, suffered from mother-in-law, suffered from sister-in-law, suffered from wife, suffered from friend. The only true friend of Mohbad is God and his father. It is well. Àwọn ọmọ wa wọn ò ní ṣìrìn. So that is that about the driver. When you heard the news, how did you react? He said he was shocked for 3 days. He cannot eat. That was what he said. Same experience with all of us when we heard. He said his truth, and that was it. Then lastly, I am muted. You are not hearing me. Are you hearing me? You are not hearing me. Kí lẹ wá ń kọ nóòsì. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí? Yes, we can hear you. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ dáyà ajá mi. You can hear me now. Wọ́n ṣáà wò. A very, very knowledgeable young man, vast in his field. Wọ́n lè fi màgòmágó kan bá. I wish he was the pathologist. I wish he was the pathologist. Because one word that you ask him, he will explain. Oníkà máa pè lọ́rọ̀ pọ̀. Yes, but he is intelligent. His name is Dr. Umuala Chigozie, and is the chief medical officer of Perez Medcare Hospital. He says he lives inside that facility. Umuala Chigozie. And so, I said, and in that hospital, he has been practicing for 12 years. He has been practicing as a doctor for 12 years, but he has only been there for 4 years. Around 4:30 p.m., he said there was an emergency. And at their reception, he said because their hospital is a 2-story building, his office is on the 1st floor, and the nursing section is at the reception. That while the patient was brought in, he came because they called him. He had to take his glove and stethoscope to run down to come and verify. It was Tuesday by 4:30 p.m. 4:30. I said it, that he said the Perez Hospital is a 2-story. Perez Hospital is the second hospital that he was taken to. It's the second hospital, not the first too. Kuramed was the first, but the doctor did not come. She was not at the court, but the second hospital. So it was a 2-story building. Is it true that Wunmi tore Mohbad? Definitely. Ó tún já chain ní ọrùn ẹ̀ gan pàápàá, according to the driver. Let me move on, Joe. So it was the doctor said it's a 2-story building and is on the 1st floor. So the nurses' point is downstairs. That by the time he even got there, the nurses were already checking vitals. No vitals, anything, no vitals. He said there was no pulse. Every monitoring that they needed to do to the eyes, even said that the face was already stiff. Because he said as he was doing the examination, he thought that he could do a CPR. Ẹ ṣáà rí nígbà tí Wunmi sọ wípé wọ́n ṣọwọ́ báyìí nítorí ó tún rántí ìyẹn ló ní pé kóun fi kún. You understand? So he said he wanted to check for the pulse. That everything about it was flat. Everything. Because he asked them, when did this happen? They said not too long. He said, but by the time he was looking at the stages, the algomoris, the rigomotis, the palmogotis, he said the stage that Mohbad was on the palmogotis, meaning that he has been dead for over 3 hours. He said he even had to check. He did a comprehensive work. He did wonderful, the doctor, because he said he checked under the feet of Mohbad. It was as white as cloth, and there were dark spots in there. There were dark spots on that leg, on that sole of his feet. He said he established everything, and as he was doing it, he was showing it to them. Now you see the eyes. It is not. He said because if you shine light in the eyes, that at least there's supposed to be a blinking of. He said nothing. He said to his face and his teeth, to his jaw, it was already stiff. As they told him that it was not too long ago, he said no. He told them that this has been over 3 hours. Over 3 hours. So since he was brought in dead, he pronounced that he was brought in dead, and that they should take him to a government mortuary where they are going to take him in, so that they can provide every fact on a death certificate. Because he said for every patient that they bring to their center, what they do is documentation. But he has never met Mohbad. Mohbad has never been a patient in that hospital. He was seeing him for the first time. He said the people that brought him, by the CCTV, they were able to see at least how they drove in. There was emergency. They were putting their hand on their head, shouting Imole, Imole. He said he did not know him. He was seeing him for the first time. But because that was a young man, and they said he was a star or upcoming star, he was concerned. He had to be, but everything that he did, he just proved that he didn't just die. Because had they been in the first hour of his death, maybe whatever thing that his brain might still be functioning if a CPR was applied or whatever. He said, but everything has gone. So what is your recommendation, to this court? He said they should teach CPR, how they can do a resuscitation. Because if actually everything that happened had been, a CPR had been administered, fine. Then he was able to mention that, because he said he was asking the nurse, what did you give? What was the reaction? He said because the patient they brought, he was wet. They poured water on him. It was with the water, so he could not even ascertain his body temperature. He was cold. Was there a written report or death certificate? Death certificate said there was no death certificate because one, he did not die in their custody. If he died in their custody, they will be able to put the time of death the type of death, what he for her, how he died and all of that. But because the detail was not there, there was just a note. They did not ask the question, who took the note? Because he said in the course of the chaos and all of it, some patients were even passing by, that they had to go and look for a corner that they can condone off so that they can attend, give everything. But he said the recommendation to take him to the morgue was by him.
Welcome back. That was a detailed update on what transpired at the coroner inquest. Well, it is what it is. I mean, let us be sincere. Let us be sincere. A lot, and I mean a lot, has been happening on this justice for Mohbad, and people are kind of like sort of, the people were already losing hope. They were losing hope. People were losing hope. They just didn't like what happened. Like, they were having this thought, and they didn't like the outcome. They were having this thought. They wished and they felt within them that they had so much put on this private autopsy. They believed it was going to yield something extraordinary, since a lot of people did not trust the result of the government. They felt that there is some kind of connection, some people are in cahoots. And I said it to myself and to everyone listening, to you all. I said, this thing about Cynthia, it's just an exaggeration. There's nothing fantastic about this girl. She's got nothing. She has nothing. I said it. I said she has nothing. It's not like she's some well-connected, blah, 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 whatever. She's not. I said it. I said there is nothing spectacular about this one. She has nothing. She has nothing. It's just that one or two people, some few people here and there, and somehow it seems there is this kind of thing working against Mohbad. There is this kind of thing like covering left him. Let me put it that way. It's like when you have a cover or like a kind of covenant that is supposed to work for you, and somehow may we not just leave that covenant that is supposed to help us, protect us, keep us. I mean, like something just worked against him. Like there's this thing like you must leave this world. You must leave this world. So he did just everything that he did is how he's just going to leave this world. And did it happen? Yes, it did happen. Everything that happened to Mohbad is like a kind of grand orchestration. And he also didn't pay attention to some things. He didn't pay attention to some things in his life. He didn't pay attention. There are certain things that he could have acted upon, but I don't know, maybe due to some, I can't really say. There are certain things that he didn't pay attention to. Those are some of the things that, I mean, just look at it. There are certain things he didn't pay attention to. He didn't see his life as so important that he needs to protect it with everything. He gave too much to a woman. He gave too much to a woman. Now, I'm not saying, oh, dislike your significant other. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, women are this. This is not against. This is not against women or woman. No. I'm saying he gave too much to a woman that is not worth giving to. Now, is it that Cynthia did not try? Cynthia, there's something about manipulation. People that will manipulate you, they will not be 100% bad to you. There are parts that they will be good to you because they need to keep you in check. The most important to them. And I'm kind of wondering, what would have come up on Mohbad to have made Cynthia sole accountant, keeper of his money? Have you guys thought about it? Is it that Mohbad didn't have good memory? like he's just that kind of person that or if he's that kind of man, when they meet a woman, they want to impress you by, oh, you know what, be in charge of my money, like just be in charge so that we'll know we'll manage it, there was a time things were so bad, and or I don't really get it, because from what we heard, questions were asked by the record label boss, like, why should I be putting money into the account of your woman? Who does that? You are a man, you should be in charge of your money. Why should your money be in? That's what he said. He was just laughing like sheepishly, like put it there. So it could be juju, because these are dangerous families. The only reason why they will even embrace Mohbad, I mean, they are the banjos. The reason they will embrace Mohbad is because the guy, he released funds, he released money, They were in charge of the cash, in charge of money. So if they are in charge of money, what else is it that they want? There's nothing else they want. Just be in charge of money. Now, there is something that we also heard that Cynthia has said. That's the thing. You see, it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that it's a complex situation. Let me just tell you the truth of it. It is complex. It's a complex situation. Now, I have to be fair here. Like I said manipulation. Let me break it down. I listened to a girl called Dominica. She used to be friends with Mohbad. She used to date one of those Mohbad crew. So she said something that she had told Mohbad, look, with this pressure, stress, and all of these things coming from this woman, this lady, this girl, why don't you just do away with this relationship instead of constantly complaining, this is not this girl is aggressive, she's arrogant, she's stupid, she's manipulative, and she's not even true to you. Why don't you end this relationship? Mohbad said, you know what, don't worry, I'm going to just send her abroad and she'll just be there. That's where she'll be, raising my kids. Me, I'll be here, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? The girl is like, what are you talking about? I say, and she has also tried. Now, let's go to what is a try? What is a try? What is a try of Cynthia? Now, let's go back to what the part of what we heard. Part of what we heard is this from the driver, that Cynthia, during their clash on that day of the show, Cynthia was telling Mohbad, who are you? Why are you raising up your shoulders like you are something? Before you blow, meaning before you became, don't forget that Mohbad was still upcoming. He was just beginning to connect to those that have been in the industry, trying to like regain himself. When you had nothing, when no one knew you, when you were just like, before you blow, before you became even known, I went to my mom to loan, or is it to loan or to take? I guess it should be a loan or maybe an assistant. I don't know. Like, is it 200,000 naira or something in that range? 200,000 naira or whatever, so that we can use it to maintain ourselves. Maybe those are the sacrifice. Maybe 200,000. So they too, they started loaning from Mohbad when Mohbad started getting money. So that's the finance part of it. Like, oh, I sacrificed, I did, so that to assist him also as a person, for him to be, comfortable. And don't forget, it could be that she did not even go to mommy to loan. She used that Kwekus to go and work the work and brought the money and said, I got it from my mom. So we have this ghetto-like lifestyle that you need to understand about this setting. That kind of ghetto lifestyle. If you've watched those American movies, you see some kind of things. So the girl will sacrifice certain things rather than doing things in a different way. The girl will opt to do certain things, could be criminal things, then bring the money to the guy, and then the guy becomes this, and she's like, look, guy, do you know what I did to make us solvent, to make us flow, to make everything smooth? Is that what Cynthia meant by time for me to enjoy? So A girl that is going to use Akweku's transformer to make money to bring home. How can you now tell the girl, don't go out? Now, Mohbad became okay financially to a point, like, okay, things are now beginning to fly smooth here and there. Mohbad said, okay, you know what, be in charge of money. After all, there was a time I didn't have money because of my record label thing, blah, 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 blah. He didn't have enough money. You know, when they left the Malian house, it's like there wasn't anything. Don't forget they were living in that house, and who knows how much will come into the pocket, and they have to go to club. They have to blow the money. You know, he didn't, things were not really like how, and we heard that money was being transferred from Mohbad's account to Mohbad's auntie and all of that. So they were cutting out cash there, like, as the money is coming in, let us also keep some money somewhere. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll say he doesn't want relationship again. I'll have some money to keep too. You know, they were playing fast one, fast one, fast one. So Mohbad was like a job, like a project. That was what Mohbad was to these people, like a project. Like, okay, let's see if we can put in a little bit of this and that here. He's a shining star. Something is going to come out of him. But who knows? Anyhow, because she also went around searching about Mohbad's life pathway spiritually too. So there are certain few things she will get to know. So slowly she was doing all of those things, running the show around like that, until it came to a point where everything turned bad. Did she ask for hospital? According to what we heard, she did tell Mohbad, let's go to the hospital. Mohbad said no. Why? Because the injury wasn't to him that much. Now, I need you to understand that that injury that we are talking about is the injury from what we have observed. And now I want you to now understand this thing. That injury is injury that is sustained prior to the show. The thing just bled again. So where did they sustain that injury? Cynthia seems to be the culprit of that injury. So if Mohbad succumbed to treatment that was not given properly, applied properly, then she is indirectly, and let's just put it that way, involved, responsible for the demise of Mohbad. Yes, oh, let's go to the hospital. This injury is getting worse again. Let's go to the hospital. So it's not like it is the no. You understand how this complexity is. And another thing to clear again, it was Cynthia. There were two incidents that happened. It was Cynthia that Primeboy was defending that got Mohbad upset. Can you see this world? How well,